I now invite the second speaker of today's FDP, Professor R. Balaji Rao. Before he comes and delivers his lecture, I have a few words to share about him. Professor R. Balaji Rao, at presently working as the head of this department of physics in Geetham University, Hyderabad. He completed his postdoctoral fellowship in the Institute of Technology, USA. He has 15 years of teaching experience. Also, he published 15 journal publications and more than 25 papers. He presented and published in both national and international conferences. He also attended more than 15 workshops. He completed two research projects like Naval Research Board DRDO project and National Science Foundation USA. On Board of Research in Nuclear Sciences, BRNS is an ongoing present project of Balaji sir. Also, he supervised 14 MTech theses and 6 PhD theses. His research areas include nanocrystalline and nanocomposite electrolyte and electrode materials for glass ceramics, lithium and sodium ion battery applications. Today, he's going to deliver the role of sodium ion battery technology for clean transportation in India, a roadmap. He's going to deliver his talk on this topic, that is, the role of sodium ion battery technology for clean transportation in India, a roadmap. Sir, I now request you to take over the session, and the time is for you now.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for your nice introduction and the nice words about me. Before I start my talk, I should congratulate the management, the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, IARE Hyderabad, and the coordinator of this program, Dr. Harikesh Swad, and the team members. Because why I would like to thank all these guys to take up the challenge in energy. Is very important, crucial for the benefit of all over the world, not only for the India. In view of the energy sector concentrating on FDP program only on a specific field, that is only on energy, is a challenge for the institute to grab so many number of participants. That's why I thank the management for giving the opportunity to the audience or otherwise to the participants in this FDP program. Secondly, almost the participants are around 150. So getting interest related to the energy problems and the energy challenges with 115 students, definitely one more the successful success of this program to a higher degree or higher level. That's why I thank both of them for this conference or the workshop that the institute is being initiated. That's one side. The second issue that I would like to mention, very recently, that means 2 days ago, the Central Minister, Prakash Javadekar, given a statement related to the startup programs, the startup industries related to the manufacturers in India, different kinds of batteries. I will explain you a little later what kind of batteries are there, how these batteries could be used for the different kinds of appliances. Almost around 20,000 crores that the government of India is initiated to give in different forms, not only for the battery industry or the startup, but also to give the subsidy for the electric vehicle batteries, also the researchers, because research and development is very, very important. We have been suffering with the COVID almost 1.5 years ago started. In view of the research and development only, the vaccine has now available and people are in safe hands up to some extent. Similarly, the energy production, energy management, these are the two important factors for any country. Please, can you mute yourself? The battery, that means the energy production and the management. The energy production and management are the two important areas for the development of any country economy. Hariprasad Garu, can you mute all? So, here in this case, each and every government, including India, concentrating much on giving the fruits of the energy that is being supplied by the Indian community, which definitely boosts the economy of in India. Definitely the other side to implement some kind of activities at our country. With this, what I wanted to point out, the production, the cost-effective production of energy. The cost-effective production of energy definitely boosts the economy of any country, which we need to give first priority in parallel to the health of the population. So, on the account of this scenario, the Department of Science and Technology has opened an initiative for the research scholars and researchers, the faculty who are working in colleges and universities, a kind of battery development program, energy sector program, to give funding for the faculty who are working in especially in the energy sector. The advertisement is open up to June 1st. Next 15 days is available. If anyone is interested to write a proposal to the DSC, you can write. That's why the energy sector creates a lot of impact on the society and also opportunities. Secondly, I would like to mention one more important point. Earlier talk was given by Professor M.S. Professor M. Satyanarayana sir, covering personality in battery materials research. I am afraid to deliver a talk after his talk because he has vast almost 40 years of experience and we have been listening to him and giving so many citations to his papers. But however, my work and my initiatives are a little bit different for his research. That's why I try to give some glimpse on this sodium-ion battery technology. I know the participants are related to the different community, but I try to make you into the journey of a battery technology, sodium-ion battery technology, how this battery technology or sodium battery technology would realize the clean transportation in India, which is the dream of our country or our Prime Minister otherwise. Immediately, let me go to the next slide. Don't worry about the outline of my talk. Energy storage and management, principle, fundamental, and why battery catches fire, definitely that I should explain. And what is the difference between battery and capacitor? And some important points, because I know this is not the forum to display my actual work, my research work, but I try to give some glimpse of my research work, which would definitely realize our importance of the present talk. Before I go to my actual presentation, I need to give you need for large scale renewable energy storage. Need for large scale energy storage. See, this is very important video where it connects and gives the importance. Delhi pollution I've been giving as, especially Indian pollution I'm giving, not any other country. Taj Mahal, traffic, pollution, global warming. Now, friends, once you see the video of present slide, we see that we are addicted to the fossil fuel. If you go from 2018, I have started from the 2018. If you go to the 2040, people are working on energy sector and management by different countries. We were among them. That is, in India, we are also working reasonably good pace, especially on energy sector. Just as I mentioned, we are addicted to the fossil fuels. How? See there, the nuclear and other energy production techniques, natural gas and the burning of coal. These are the three major sectors to generate the electric power. You see the image, obviously the fumes are going up. That means greenhouse gas emissions. In view of that, our nature gets disturbed. In view of that, there is a lot of problems for the seasons to appear. Please, can you mute yourself? It gives a lot of noise to others who are listening carefully. So, Paul, Dr. Hariprasad, can you mute them? So it gives a lot of noise to other people. So that I request all the participants to mute for about half an hour. And then you will definitely get some kind of minimum knowledge after the half an hour or 45 minutes. Friends, there are three different sectors to produce the electrical energy. One is nuclear and other kinds, natural gas, and then coal burning. All these three sectors will produce the greenhouse gas emissions and also other side, the carbon monoxide into the environment. As a result, we have a problem of getting the pollution issue. You see a green, nothing but the production of energy via solar and wind technology, which we will be concentrating on it today. There is no emission of fossil fuels into the environment, so that if you consume a lot of quality emission or quality electrical transport to the public, which definitely causes a lot of impact. In addition to that, wind and renewable energies are never ended. Coal will be ended very soon. Natural gas and others also will be ended. Abundant resources will definitely give you sustainable energy production even after some time. So if you see the bottom image, that means production of energy with uncleaned burning of coal, definitely change is inevitable to go for the renewable energy production. With this, you have to see, we have to see aside uncleaned production of energy, but you have to take care of the clean production of energy. That is our role. So with this, we have known one important point: the production of energy via the renewable energy resources is important for our sustainable life. Friends, I come to the second point. Up to 2040, that is the dream of India. As our country, we should feel proud to have the target. The production of this clean energy, this clean wind energy, increased to up to 25% to 30% is our target. Then we would see the important knowledge related to this. Very recently, throughout the world, a case study was happened where the combination of wind, solar, and wave energy production, but demand is very high, the production is very low. Therefore, lot of companies, industries have come forward to generate, private companies especially, to generate the electricity or power sector by private industry. As our university, we have we had a good collaboration, research collaboration with the green energy technologies of Archimedes, which is established in South Africa. We have a research collaboration. We have been working on it. Secondly, God-given gift. This is very important, friends. There are so many questions from the solar energy, production of solar energy. What is that? Students normally ask me, including the faculty, sir, during rainy season, during night, or during tide season, that means different seasons are there. All the time, the solar, that means sun rays are not available, sun intensity is not available. At that point of time, it is very difficult for us to sustain. And it's definitely a good question. That's why people have had a thought process in it and give a good solution for us. That is not the human-made solution that was given by God. Different. This is a very important figure. That's why I give an importance to the hybrid energy production, not solar energy as a whole, which is our objective. That's why our work is a little bit different than the other people. See, friends, January. This red color is solar pattern. The wind pattern is blue. See, friends, come from January to May. We are at May now. That is the summer season. That is the summer season. So, come from January to May, the sun intensity is gradually being increased. After monsoon, in the month of June, slowly being decreased. Very interesting point, friends. Listen carefully. See, friends, this is a wind energy. Though the sun intensity is maximum up to June, for example, after that it is getting reduced, the wind pattern is also increased up to September. Up to September or October sometimes. That means if you mix together, that means if you talk the hybrid energy production using solar and wind, if you have a hybrid energy production, solar and wind, so that you could produce the electrical energy out of 12 months up to 9 months. Up to 9 months time, without any problem. Especially for India, it is a safe zone. Out of 12 months, if you generate the renewable energy production for about 9 months, the rest of the 3 months, if you depend on other kinds of the production of power, such that we will contribute for the benefit of India, benefit of younger generation from the pollution by at least 10 times. This is our objective, friends. This is our contribution. In view of that, we have taken this kind of challenge and started working since 5 years. Secondly, see the other side of the image, a solar light. And then this is a solar panel. And it is connected to wind. Here, there is a fan, wind fan. Whenever the wind is available, it takes the wind energy and the solar energy. Both put together, it works for about 9 months. It is a smaller scale project. And then we can have a lot of sources, the hydrogen-based resources, renewable energy resources. But the important point is the storage is important. I give an example, I go to the topic. Tata company, Tata Nexon, it is a live example. Nowadays, running on the road, normally petrol car costs around the 10 lakhs rupees. But if you want to buy the same hybrid vehicle, that means electrically powered vehicle, cost around 17 to 18 lakhs. That means almost around 80 to 70% to the 80% of the total vehicle cost equivalent to the battery cost. That means the companies are charging like anything. Though the cost is that much higher, but the companies are charging. So that you can estimate from how much is the cost. And one more example I give you, which is also live. Tesla car. Tesla, which name I forgot the reason. Tesla, I don't know the name, I forgot to mention the name of this model. Tesla car, where the car costs around 23 lakhs. The car is simply normally like a Swift Desire as well. But people are not interested. If the Swift Desire car is coming for about 10 lakhs, why should we put the same size and same measurement for about 23 lakhs? We don't want to put. So our idea is to create any effective tool that must be cost effective. Here I am talking about cost effective storage devices. The lithium-ion batteries, no doubt, they are having high energy density. But that much cost to put for a vehicle in India, which is not definitely come true even after 20 years or 30 years, because our affordability is very minimal. Just before this presentation, our NSSR clearly explained what are the different components present in the battery. Cathode, anode, electrolyte, separate, which I don't want to discuss. But see friends, the blue color and red color. Outside of the battery, the electrons always flow. See friends, outside of the battery, electrons always flow. If you give the load to the outside circuit, definitely if it is an LED bulb glows. If it is any other load, that other load works. But the other point is how the electrons will be emitted. The electrons will be emitted due to the emission of electrons from the lithium atom. Please close your videos BCS to all participants at a time. We need to we'll take this presentation on stop now, which I don't want to participate. Now, the electron will be emitted from lithium atom. That means lithium gives arrow mark Li plus and electron. That means the lithium easily emits the electron. Because of that, the lithium comes into picture very fast. And in 1991, Sony Corporation has designed battery for the first time in the market. And one more doubt, the battery community or the energy storage community has a problem. Sir, there are so many capacitors available to store a lot of energy. Why always we are hanging around battery? Definitely, the battery is the superior, though the capacitor stores a lot more energy. I have given almost around 5 important points. Better energy density than a capacitor. Better energy density. What do you mean by energy density? Energy density is nothing but the amount of energy stored per unit volume of the material. That means if you take a 1 gram of lithium composition, that means lithium compound, how much of amount of energy will be stored? That is what is called energy stored. The amount of energy stored per unit volume of the material. So relatively better energy density. Second important point is discharging is very slow we require. Discharging is very slow, which we require. But in case of capacitor, charging is faster, we accept, but we don't accept faster discharging. We don't use that. Therefore, relatively battery is better. Runs for longer time, but its voltage decreases rapidly. When compared with battery, the capacitor higher cost. Friends, always we see towards the cost, always we prefer battery. Now, all people doubt as solid now. Voltage related, charging discharging related, and then the cost related. In view of that, people are talking much about the battery than the capacitor. And there are so many accidents. Since then, the Sony Corporation invented a battery into the market after 1991. There are the 3 reasons. I give you one more live example. Very recently, that means 1 year ago, near Jadcherla, almost around 150 kilometers to the Hyderabad, a road accident was happened, and in that almost around 40 passengers were lost their lives. And that vehicle belongs to Volvo company. Please mute yourself. Please mute for me. And after that, the company has come. The company representatives have come and then identify what are the problems that the blasting happened. Definitely, they found the battery was the main reason for that accident happened. Since then, almost around 92 accidents, 5 accidents were happened with the help of, only because of battery. That means battery safety is also important in addition to the energy density. Therefore, researchers must take care about, number 1, the production of high energy density, other side is a safety. I don't go in detail with the safety, but there are the three reasons I will tell you. Number 1, because of short circuit. Because of the short circuit, there is a damage for the separator because of that battery side. And then overcharging, there is also one more important. During overcharging, oxygen will release. In view of the release of the oxygen, obviously overheating occurs, then overheat spikes. Third important point is electrolyte breakdown. So when you use continuously a battery, the material which we are talking about an electrolyte, because the battery contains the 3 components, cathode, anode, and electrolyte. That electrolyte should have a higher stability. That means they should not break down even the battery being used in higher or elevated temperature. Therefore, researchers and the company or the industries, battery developing industries must take care about the testing of the battery even and the efficiency of the battery even at elevated temperature. Very recently, we have taken up this project. Testing the battery at its elevated temperature, so that during the long distances when a vehicle travels, there is a very possibility to increase the heat or increase the temperature of the battery. We have to prepare the battery in such a way so that the battery can withstand even at elevated temperature without compromising on its charging capacity. This is the challenges for the community, that is scientific community. So that's friends. The participants, I have a question now. Some of the faculty are trying to write a proposal to the funding agency. Take up this kind of project. Calculate the sustainability of the battery even at elevated temperature. That could be a good research work, which is a challenge for the community, research community, which you can take up. And second one, preparing the electrolyte, higher stability electrolyte, should not break up or break down even at higher elevated temperature. That also is second problem, the young faculty and the teachers and the students can take up their MTech project. These are the two problems or three issues that you can take up. So remember, friends. So the battery industry is going like this. Up to 2020, 10 the vehicles are being applied, and then go for the different batteries. Now, friends, I will give you an example. Just now, I have given an important point related to the lithium battery, difference between the lithium battery and sodium battery. Lithium availability is very, very minimal. In some South American countries, the lithium reserve. And if you use the lithium like anything, the availability of the lithium for the next 100 years only. In view of that, the lithium battery charge doesn't cost very, very high. In future, availability of lithium is also minimal, so that the technology is to be changed. Now, I come to the important point about sodium ion battery technology. Sodium, everywhere you see. That means sea. You can extract the sodium from the sea water. Sea water is always available like our renewable energy resources. Friends, there are the 2 points I am mixing together. Number one, renewable energy sources. That means combining, that means hybrid solar and wind power. That is one side. Storage of energy produced by the solar as well as wind power with the help of sodium ion battery technology. As the sodium is freely available, after even next 1,000 years, always live. In view of that, we are talking about, we are getting the good knowledge related to the sodium ion battery technology, which is a roadmap to realize the clean transportation in India. And I don't want to go in detail with the battery principles and everything. I come to the three components. Hariprasad Garu, how much time is left over? Hariprasad Garu, how much time is left over? I don't have, okay. Okay, no problem. I have a section time to come through. About the materials I will be talking about. Friends, as your teacher, you are discussing about the two important materials. Number one, the crystalline material. Number two, the amorphous material. How do you classify crystalline? Periodic arrangement of atoms. That means periodicity, degree of periodicity. If the degree of periodicity is very, very higher, that kind of material is nothing but the crystalline material. The degree of periodicity is poor, then that kind of material is called as amorphous. Let me talk about the crystalline material and then I go for amorphous. Now, I am giving some important parameters: theoretical capacity, life cycle, working temperature, advantages and disadvantages. Friends, there are layer kind of material, final material, and then polyion material. Just I mentioned here, if you prepare the electrodes with layer kind of material, there is a problem. I have given with the red color serious safety issue because oxygen availability is the main problem. But we cannot use for this. Secondly, final kind of material. That's why I'm giving very limited information in an elaborated manner. But the problem is the capacity fading. That means up to now, the capacity is very good. After 15 minutes, what happens? The total retained capacity will go down like anything. That kind of materials also will not be used. But the polyion kind of materials are reasonably good to design the electrode material. Up to now, the lithium iron phosphate is a successful cathode material so far. The same people are using even in electric vehicles, that is lithium iron phosphate. So I request one more time, please mute yourself. And there are different groups in the world. People are working on cathode, anode, and electrolyte. Will be available. And some are successful, some are not, because of different reasons. Within 1 hour, it is very difficult to guess it. But I give you one more point. What are the components that we require for a sodium-ion battery to use for the sustainable application? Cycle life, 1000, that means 1000 cycles. Specific energy density greater than 130 kilowatt hour per kg. And cathode capacity almost 200 milliampere hour per gram. Anode capacity around 500 milliampere hour per gram. I have put some targets to meet the objective of our work. These are the first and foremost targets that we put, and then I will give you how far I would meet these expectations or these targets. I will explain in the next slide how our group is growing. And then, right, this is very important. This is a PEM image published in the year 2017. I give you a small example. Cathode lithium iron phosphate. Anode, for example, any carbonaceous material, or a graphite, for example, which we are using normally in batteries. These are the two crystalline materials. But so far, highest efficient electrolyte material is a glass and glass-based electrolyte, glass ceramic-based electrolyte, which is an amorphous one. Why I need to point out here, this is one more idea, friends. Anode and cathode efficient electrolytes related to the family of crystalline, whereas the efficient electrolyte material, which should allow the ions into it without any difficulty. But in between two crystalline materials, there is an amorphous material. That is the problem nowadays every battery facing. That means efficient cathode and electrolyte materials belong to the family of crystalline, whereas the electrolyte material belongs to the family of amorphous. What is the difference? The crystalline materials related to the highest periodicity, whereas the amorphous material belongs to the family of poor periodicity. Therefore, when the lithium ion travels from cathode to the anode during the discharge via electrolyte, they suffer with a kind of rate change, that is rate performance from one side to the other side. In view of that, charging discharge process become delayed.
Balaji sir, sir, I want to remind you, you have 5 more minutes, sir.
Only 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Right. So, and then the researchers are thinking about using the amorphous materials for both electrodes and electrolytes. With this idea, all the 3 components of a battery come to a uniform structure that is called as poor periodicity structure, so that the lithium ions travel from anode to the cathode and cathode to the anode by electrolyte would feel comfort, so that the rate performance would increase. That is the idea behind. In view of that, we have taken a challenge. I will give you one particular challenge. For example, in addition to that, we have taken some kind of computational work also. During the discharging process and charging process, the ions travel from the cathode to anode like a displacement manner, that means in a straight direction. I don't know till date any material would have that kind of structure or not. But very recently, in the year 2020, we have published in the Energy Materials and Interfaces. Up to some extent, we are successful. The traveling from this point, sodium ion, in a zigzag manner. That means, from one side to the other side, if an ion travels in a zigzag manner, to travel, for example, 1 centimeter distance, or 1 millimeter distance, or 1 nanometer distance, if you take x seconds or x milliseconds, the same if you prepare a material to travel Na ion directly from top to bottom in a straight manner, in a straight direction, so that the time will be reduced to a maximum possible extent. As a result, you would increase the charging process by 10 times. Therefore, our idea is to prepare a kind of material where the sodium ion travels directly from one compound to the other compound without any lagging or avoid zigzag manner. This is one more idea, friends. I don't want to give any details related to my research work, but directly I will go here. This is entirely the materials prepared on our laboratory, and we are going to be patented a full cell battery maybe next month or so. Because of COVID, the process is getting delayed. And yesterday also we have got the information from some company related to the collaboration that I don't want to discuss now. The negative electrode, especially this material, the electrolyte, the material drawn from outside, the positive electrode, which is prepared in our laboratory, the top is stainless steel disc, and then bottom is one more disc, and pressed together are almost around 400 megapascals, so that this the solid state sodium ion battery will prepare. our students have been preparing this kind of sodium cell with this material. You can see this image, which is the sodium ion battery. We have done it with the help of the CR2032 cell. We try to use a preliminary experiment with the LED light. Almost we are successful as far as laboratory cell is concerned. And the second point, before I close it, very, very important point. There is a glass and glass ceramic I told you. What is the difference between the glass material and glass ceramic material? See, this image. We have drawn different kinds of glass ceramic material. The time is around 60 days. The time is around 60 days. That means we have kept those materials in an ambient air for about 2 months. And these two materials are having very good conductivity. There is no decrement in the conductivity, almost in the order of 10 power 4 Siemens per centimeter, which is a reasonable good conductivity, which is being used for our the full cell battery purpose. We are at this stage. This papers are also published very recently in 2021 and 20 also. And as far as sodium ion battery capacity is concerned, we are almost close to the big group working in the world, almost in the order of 90, and in the order of anode 800 something, the conductivity in the order of 10 power minus 5. These are the targets we have put based on the efficient cathode and anode and electrolyte material. We have been designing the sodium ion full cell battery and the testing. And one more point before I close. Where do we stand? We are at the top level. That means we are at the on par with very good groups in the world. So in future, we will be getting definitely good results to move a greener, sustainable energy storage in India. With this, I could stop, madam, and then we will have one more, or if you give me 5 minutes time, I will try to help, because in the earlier session,
yes, sir.
In the earlier session, one student asked you one question related to the characterization. That's why I wanted to, because I felt that some of the students are having this kind of doubt. I will definitely clear it.
Okay, sir, please.
Yeah. Only 5 minutes now. Please give me
please
5
take.
so
please
that
take.
There should not be any problems of the participant. They will be
yes,
clear.
Please carry on. Please.
There are different characterization techniques. I am talking about 3 important compounds, just maybe in the 15th or 14th slide. That is spinel material, layered material, and the polyion material. The question is, how would you classify the different kinds of material? There is a big debate, but I don't want to give very detailed explanation, but I give you very minimal information. That means people should attract to this point. XRD is a primary technique, friend. X-ray diffraction is a primary technique to identify the phase of a given material, the structure, and the crystalloid size. Simply, the XRD peaks are like this. The XRD peaks are like this. We have to analyze these peaks. There are the 3 important. Peak position is important. Peak width is important. Peak intensity is also very important. To calculate the peak position, peak width, and the peak intensity, there are different softwares available in the market. Foolproof, pan analytical, etc., etc. You can fit this XRD images or the XRD peak patterns into that the pan analytical XRD expert iScore software. You can definitely note down the peak width, peak position, and the peak intensity. Now we have come to a stage. We have fit and we have taken one peak here, one particular peak. There are different peaks, friends, but I take this peak, I take this only one peak because the procedure is same for all the peaks to calculate peak position, peak width, peak intensity. That's why I take a particular peak in a broader manner. Now, this is the maximum amplitude, friends. You know very well, the amplitude square gets intensity. You can have I maximum. You divide I maximum divided by 2. You divide I maximum divided by 2. You cut the peak height at its center. That is called as full width half maximum. That is called as full width half maximum. And there is a Shear's formula. That is the only Shear's formula that you can use the full width half maximum and this is theta. That means at what point, at which angle the peak amplitude is maximum. You can calculate the theta and full width half maximum beta. And you substitute both of them in Shear's formula. Then you will get the crystallized size. You will get the crystallized size. And one more important doubt I will clarify now. There are so many questions because wherever I deliver a talk, there is a common question, even for the teachers. That we are not understanding clearly in an XRD or a SCM. We are getting the particle size, crystallized size, or grain size. This is the question everywhere it comes. Friends, I solved this problem with one solution, with a mathematical expression, simple expression, not mathematical, simple expression. I give a small difference. First, crystallized is equal to grain is equal to particle. Crystallized, grain, particle. Some crystallites combine together to form a grain. Remember, friends, take 4 or 5 crystallites, combine together to form a grain. And you take 4 or 5 grains. For example, I am giving you for better understanding. 4 or 5 grains you combine together equivalent to a particle. So that you can have the crystallite is a minimum size. After that, a grain size. After that, a particle. Then you could understand how do you compare the crystallite size with particle and the crystallite size with a grain. But there is one more observation that I need to tell you before close. If it is a single crystalline material, think, friends, crystallite size is equal to, in a single crystalline material, only one crystal. So crystallite size is equal to grain size is equal to particle. But in multi-crystalline materials, you should not compare the crystallite size with the grain size with the particle size, because collection of crystallites is equal to grain. Collection of grains nothing but the particle. This I wanted to convey for the people. And then, what are the Advantage with the XRD. Phase you can identify. You can refine the unit cell. You can calculate the nanocrystalline size and strength. And you can give the JCPDF cost. These are the details that you could get it. And the different softwares available, as I mentioned twice, foolproof Rexfeld refinement crystal structure. This is a little bit oldest one, and then Rexfeld refinement of crystal structure. You can use the Rexfeld refinement, and then you can calculate. And then I recommend old Rexfeld, and some crack versions are also available in the Google. I don't recommend to go for the crack version, but it is very expensive. But to learn the basics, you can download the crack version and do practice on it, so that you will get the knowledge on the crystallized size, how to calculate and everything. So this is about I wanted to convey. But if I find time, I can go for the STEM and the STEM. If Dr. Hariprasad gives me the opportunity for the next time, definitely I will give you the option. Finally, before, we have very good laboratory in our university, energy processing materials. We have an electrochemical workstation, battery testing, and the high energy ball building technique, and the coin cell crimping machine, and then vacuum oven. Everything is available to design the fuel cell, which you have been using. So I request anyone who can access my laboratory. I am free to help who is required specially, so that you can talk to me via Dr. Hariprasad, and that definitely will help you as best as we can. And whatever the work that we have been doing is because of our research scholars and the collaborators. We are successfully working on it, and there is a long way to go to develop the sodium-ion battery technology for the clean transportation. To realize we have come to a 40 to 50% level, and by 2040 we will definitely go into the other the era of sodium battery technology, even for the clean transportation. That would be the target for our laboratory work. And then thank you very much for our patient listening. Thank you very much. Now the session I leave it to ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That was very informative and comprehensive presentation, sir. Certainly, the participants would, get benefited by your it's a commendable job, sir, and very detailed and very explanatory. So I would now like to read out the questions that our participants asked. Sir, according to the performance, could you suggest which is the most influencing part of sodium batteries? Is sodium solid electrolyte or cathode?
Sure.
Two questions.
Yeah. I answered the two questions at a glance. As I mentioned, the working style of the sodium and the lithium battery is different. That means the principle is same. Definitely the principle is same. The lithium, since the lithium is very light as element, so that we can use for the lightweight vehicle application and the microelectronic application. Whereas the sodium ion battery is for the stationary application, stationary storage application, where footprint is less drastic. I give a small example. For example, our home or our apartment. There are the 20 flats in our apartment. I wanted to store the renewable energy, as you have installed the solar panel at your house. At the bottom, if you put the lithium-ion batteries, so many batteries are required for the 20 flats. But lithium-ion battery is very expensive. Though the sodium-ion battery is a little bit heavier. Instead of 4 or 5 batteries, you can put 7 or 8 batteries on the land. There is no problem as far as weight is concerned. But same energy density will be delivered by sodium-ion batteries, so that you can prefer for the stationary storage applications rather than the transportation applications. where there is no compromise in the energy storage. And other point, I have got a question as far as the cost is concerned. 1 by 3 times the cost would be reduced. For example, to generate 1 kilowatt of power with the nowadays the raw materials cost, it is around $600 to $700. Whereas in the case of the sodium-ion battery, it is almost around $100 to generate 1 kilowatt of power. So that you could understand how the generation of sodium-ion batteries is very, very inexpensive relative to the lithium-ion battery. This is our idea. Next.
Yes, sir. They asked about this, whether it is cathode or electrolyte. Oh.
Yeah. So cathode and electrolyte, today people are using the solid state material, but the electrolyte also people started working on the solid state electrolyte method, which we have been working on it. So the glass and glass ceramic materials are very well established and having so many patents patented by so many companies, including Sony Corporation. So people started working on the sodium batteries. Now these batteries are in the solid state batteries, which we are using in a limited manner for the cell phones, especially we are using it. But even for the transportation also, we can use it for the higher energy storage applications as well.
Yes, sir. Actually, those are the questions we have for now. So, and like just now somebody is asking, what is the safety issue compared to lithium?
Very good. No, because as far as safety is concerned, we are using the sodium carbonate, not sodium metal as a whole. Therefore, as we are using sodium carbonate is just like a salt. There is no problem with the fire and other issues when compared with the lithium. This is sodium carbonate is not little bit, not that much the fire capture, so that there is no problem at all as far as fire is concerned. Relatively, the sodium-ion battery is safer than the lithium. And one more point I would like to mention in addition to that, we are working on higher temperatures. As I mentioned, elevated temperatures also how the sodium-ion battery is responding, which can be used for the very big industries where the temperature is a little bit higher than the room temperature. We are testing whether the battery is being sustainable or not, retains or not, efficiency decrement or increment. Those are the parameters that we have been mentioning. Maybe in the next talk, I will give you the details related to the higher temperature working style and efficiency of sodium-ion battery.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Those are the questions we have for today's session. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving the opportunity. And Dr. Hariprasad and Hariprasad team to conduct this one. And I can leave as I have one more meeting shortly by 1 o'clock. Thank you very much. And please share Hariprasad. Please share my email to the participants who are there, so that any questions they can shoot me, so that I'm ready to answer at any point of time.